Have you ever felt ignored or disrespected by your children, especially as you get older? It's an incredibly painful experience, and it can feel like no matter how much love you've given, you're being overlooked. But what if I told you there's a simple yet powerful way to regain that respect and rebuild a stronger relationship without losing your cool or adding to the tension? As parents age, many struggle with a lack of respect or attention from their children. It can feel isolating, frustrating, and heartbreaking. The emotional toll this takes on elderly parents is real, and often it's something we don't talk enough about. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to share practical steps you can take to stay calm and handle these difficult moments with effective results. Let's dive in and turn things around together. 1. Understanding the root cause. First, let's take a step back and explore why children may act disrespectfully or seem to ignore their parents, especially as they grow older. It's important to recognize that their behavior often isn't a reflection of a lack of love, but rather the result of various factors. Understanding these reasons can help you avoid taking their actions personally and approach the situation with more empathy. One of the most common reasons is simply that children are busy with their own lives. They have their careers, families, and responsibilities that take up a significant amount of time and energy. It can be difficult for them to balance everything, and sometimes, unfortunately, their parents get placed on the back burner. They may not mean to ignore you, but in the rush of life, your needs might not seem like an immediate priority. This doesn't excuse poor behavior, but it helps explain why it happens. Another reason for this disconnect is the generational differences that often emerge as both parents and children age. As we get older, our values, needs, and ways of communicating can differ greatly from those of our children. What you may see as a sign of respect, like a phone call or visit, may not hold the same weight for them in their busy modern world. It's essential to recognize that these differences can create misunderstandings, where what feels like neglect or disrespect might just be a result of not seeing eye to eye. Unresolved conflicts from the past also play a significant role. Perhaps there were arguments or unmet expectations from years ago that have never been addressed. These lingering issues can create emotional distance between you and your children. If these conflicts remain unspoken, they can manifest in the form of avoidance or coldness, making it feel like you're being disrespected. It's crucial to see the bigger picture and not just focus on the hurt feelings in the moment. Instead of interpreting your child's actions as a direct attack on your worth, try to understand that there might be underlying reasons. Their behavior could stem from stress, emotional baggage, or even their own struggles with aging or life transitions. When you step back and consider these factors, you might find it easier to stay calm and approach the situation with understanding and patience. 2. The power of calmness. Now that we understand some of the root causes of disrespect or emotional distance from our children, let's dive into why staying calm in these situations is so incredibly important. When emotions run high, it can be tempting to react impulsively, maybe with anger or hurt, but doing so often makes the situation worse. Reacting emotionally can escalate the conflict, creating more distance between you and your child. It can lead to shouting matches or cold silences, neither of which help resolve anything. When you respond calmly, however, you do more than just keep the peace. You preserve your own dignity and self-respect. Staying composed allows you to maintain control over your emotions, which not only reflects maturity, but also encourages your child to listen with an open mind. People, including our children, are far more likely to engage thoughtfully when they see that you can stay grounded, even when they might be acting out of frustration or neglect. Calmness creates space for productive conversations and can disarm defensiveness, allowing you both to communicate more effectively. Let me share an example. I know of a woman named Linda who had been feeling increasingly ignored by her son, Mark. He was always too busy to visit or even return her calls, and she began to feel rejected. Instead of confronting him with accusations and bitterness, she decided to approach him calmly the next time they spoke. She sat him down and gently expressed her feelings by saying, "I've been feeling a bit distant from you lately, and I miss our time together. Can we talk about it?" By staying composed, Linda was able to avoid triggering an emotional confrontation. This allowed Mark to open up and admit that he had been overwhelmed with work and personal issues, and he didn't realize how his actions had been affecting her. Because she remained calm, Linda created an opportunity for understanding, and the conversation led to them making plans to reconnect more regularly. Staying calm in the face of disrespect is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is okay. It's about keeping your composure long enough to approach the situation with clarity and thoughtfulness. By doing so, you protect your relationship and, most importantly, you model the kind of emotional intelligence and maturity that can encourage your child to step back and reflect on their behavior. 3. Don't take it personally. One of the hardest things to do when you feel disrespected or ignored by your children is to not take it personally. It's natural to feel hurt or upset when someone you love isn't treating you with the respect you deserve. But here's the truth. Their behavior may not have anything to do with you at all. It's important to detach from the personal sting and recognize that what your child is going through could be affecting how they treat you. Their actions are often more a reflection of their own struggles, stress, and challenges than an indication of how they feel about you as a parent. Children, especially as they grow older, are navigating a multitude of life pressures: career stress, family dynamics, financial concerns, and sometimes their own unresolved emotional issues. When they act out or seem distant, it's easy to internalize it and think, "I must have done something wrong," or "they don't love me anymore." But in many cases, their behavior is driven by their own life circumstances, not by any shortcoming on your part as a parent. The more you can separate their actions from your self-worth, the less you'll be affected by their behavior. Practicing emotional resilience is key in these moments. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from emotional setbacks and not allow them to define you. One way to build this resilience is by reminding yourself that your value doesn't depend on how your children treat you. Your self-worth is not determined by their actions. And by recognizing this, you can protect your emotional well-being. For example, take time each day to focus on activities that nourish you, whether that's exercising, enjoying a hobby, or simply practicing gratitude for the positive aspects of your life. These practices help reinforce that you are complete and valuable, regardless of what your children may or may not be doing. When you stop taking their actions personally, it becomes easier to respond from a place of understanding instead of hurt. Rather than feeling attacked, you can approach the situation with patience and empathy. This mindset shift doesn't mean you have to accept disrespect, but it allows you to handle the situation with grace without letting it diminish your sense of self. By focusing on what you can control, your response, you'll be in a much better position to handle conflicts with love and respect. 4. Use effective communication. When your children are ignoring or disrespecting you, it's easy to feel the urge to confront them in the heat of the moment. However, to resolve the situation effectively, it's crucial to approach the conversation with care and thoughtfulness. Timing and setting are key factors in how successful your communication will be. Rather than trying to talk to them when they're stressed or distracted, choose a moment when they're more likely to be open and receptive. This means waiting for a calm time when both you and your child can focus on the conversation, free from interruptions or external pressures. One of the most important tools for healthy communication in these moments is to use I statements. This technique is incredibly effective because it centers the conversation around your feelings rather than accusing or blaming your child. For instance, instead of saying, "You never call me and you don't care about me," you can say, "I feel hurt when I don't hear from you. I miss our conversations and would love to talk more." By framing the conversation in terms of how you feel, you're less likely to trigger defensiveness, which can shut down any chance of resolution. I statements encourage empathy and allow your child to hear your perspective without feeling like they're being attacked. Let's consider an example. Let's say your daughter has been distant and hasn't returned your calls. Rather than confronting her with anger, you could calmly say, "I've been feeling a little lonely lately and I've noticed we haven't talked as much. I really value our relationship and would love to hear from you more often. Can we talk about it?" This way, you're expressing your feelings honestly and opening the door for a constructive conversation without escalating the tension. You're also providing your child with the space to explain their side, which helps foster understanding rather than conflict. By choosing the right time and using I statements, you're making it easier for your child to hear you and empathize with your emotions. This kind of communication shows maturity and emotional intelligence, and it significantly increases the chances of having a respectful, non-confrontational dialogue that can bring about positive change in your relationship. 5. Setting boundaries and expectations. Setting clear boundaries with your children is essential for maintaining a healthy and respectful relationship, especially when you feel disrespected or ignored. Boundaries aren't about controlling your child's behavior, but rather about creating guidelines that protect your emotional well-being and ensure that both sides understand what is acceptable and what isn't. It's important to communicate these boundaries in a way that invites understanding rather than creating conflict. When boundaries are set with respect and clarity, they help foster a space where both parties feel heard, valued, and safe. The key is to express your boundaries calmly and respectfully, making sure your child understands that these aren't demands but rather reasonable expectations to ensure mutual respect. For example, if your child consistently cancels plans or doesn't return calls, you could say something like, "I understand that life can get busy, but when you don't keep in touch or cancel our plans without notice, it makes me feel unimportant. I need at least a heads up if something changes, so we can find another time to connect. I value our time together and would appreciate it if we could make it a priority." This approach sets a clear expectation, respect for your time, and communication, without sounding confrontational or blaming. It shows that you're establishing a boundary not out of anger, but out of a desire for a healthier, more respectful relationship. Establishing respectful boundaries often leads to positive changes in behavior. For example, one mother I know Mary noticed that her son would frequently ignore her calls and cancel plans without giving a reason. Instead of becoming upset or withdrawing, she calmly sat him down and expressed how his actions were affecting her. She set the boundary that she expected him to give her a heads up if he couldn't make plans or was too busy to talk. At first, her son was defensive, but after some thought, he realized how much his actions had been hurting his mother. Over time, he began to be more consistent with his communication and made an effort to prioritize spending time with her. By calmly setting clear expectations, Mary was able to create a respectful space where both sides could be heard and understood, leading to a positive change in their relationship. By setting boundaries in a compassionate and understanding way, you're not only protecting your own emotional needs, but also teaching your children the value of respect and communication. When both parties are clear about what is expected and agreed upon, it's easier to avoid misunderstandings and build a relationship based on mutual respect. 6. Seek support, if needed. While it's important to approach conflicts with your children calmly and with an open mind, there are times when the situation becomes too complex or emotionally charged to resolve on your own. In these moments, seeking outside support, whether through a mediator, family therapist, or counselor, can be incredibly beneficial. A neutral third party can provide valuable perspective, facilitate healthy communication, and help both you and your child work through difficult emotions in a constructive way. It's not a sign of weakness to seek help. In fact, it shows wisdom and a commitment to improving the relationship. Involving a family therapist or counselor can be especially useful if the disrespect or emotional distance from your child has been ongoing, or if there are underlying issues, such as unresolved past conflicts or deep-seated emotional pain that need to be addressed. A professional can help uncover these issues and guide both you and your child in working through them in a way that is respectful and healing. The therapist's role is to ensure that both sides feel heard and understood, while also providing tools for better communication and conflict resolution. This external support can help keep the situation from spiraling into more resentment, allowing both parties to rebuild trust and understanding in a structured and supportive environment. For example, one couple I know had been struggling with their son's growing emotional distance. They tried to address it on their own, but their conversations kept turning into arguments, leaving everyone feeling more frustrated. After some reflection, they decided to see a family therapist together. In their sessions, the therapist helped them understand the root causes of their son's behavior and taught them how to communicate their needs without triggering defensiveness. The therapist also helped the son recognize how his actions were affecting his parents and gave him the tools to express himself more respectfully. By seeking professional help, the family was able to work through their issues in a safe, supportive environment, and the relationship began to heal. Seeking support doesn't mean you've failed. It means you care deeply about the relationship and are willing to do what it takes to improve it. If you find that despite your best efforts, the disrespect continues or the emotional distance grows, involving a mediator can help bring clarity and resolution. It's important to remember that you don't have to navigate these difficult relationships alone. Support is available, and sometimes, with the right guidance, both you and your children can break through the barriers and create a healthier, more respectful connection. 7. Focus on self-care. When you're dealing with disrespect or emotional distance from your children, it can be incredibly draining. It's easy to become so consumed by the situation that you neglect your own well-being. But in order to handle these difficult moments with clarity and strength, it's crucial to prioritize your own emotional health. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you nurture your mental and physical health, you're better equipped to respond to challenges in a calm, measured way, and that ultimately benefits both you and your relationships with others. There are many ways to boost your emotional health during tough times. One simple practice is journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process your emotions, gain perspective, and release built-up tension. You might start by expressing your frustrations or reflecting on what you've learned from the situation. This allows you to clear your mind and refocus on what truly matters. Another powerful tool is meditation. Taking a few minutes each day to meditate can help center your mind, reduce stress, and promote emotional balance. You could try deep breathing exercises or mindfulness meditation, which helps you stay grounded in the present moment, instead of dwelling on past conflicts or worrying about future ones. Engaging in hobbies or activities that bring you joy is also an essential form of self-care. Whether it's gardening, painting, cooking, or spending time with friends, doing something that nurtures your spirit can recharge you emotionally. These activities help you reconnect with yourself, remind you of the positive things in life, and give you the space to relax and unwind. When you're doing something that brings you peace and happiness, you're reinforcing the idea that your worth is not dependent on how others treat you. By focusing on self-care, you're not only taking care of your mental health, but you're also strengthening your ability to deal with challenging situations like these with resilience and composure. When you feel balanced and grounded, you're in a better position to set boundaries, communicate effectively, and navigate tough conversations with your children. Remember, your well-being is the foundation for everything else. Prioritize it, and you'll have the strength and clarity to face any difficult situation with grace and confidence. Conclusion. Dealing with disrespect or emotional distance from your children can be painful, but by staying calm, setting clear boundaries, and focusing on your own well-being, you can turn things around and build a more respectful and understanding relationship. Remember, it's about finding balance and creating space for healthy communication and growth. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If this video resonated with you, type 9 if you're ready to create positive change, or 0 if you're looking to take that first step toward healing. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.